What were a couple of main takeaways you got from the Oklahoma series this last weekend?
Well, I think our kids won't be in a bigger atmosphere, and so they won't get challenged in that regard. And I think that comes with experience. The more that you get to play in front of a large amount of people, the more that you get to realize, like, is this really about you maintaining your game and not doing anything extraordinary? It's just about you playing your game, and that comes with maturity and that comes with experience. And I think our kids got a good amount of that in the past weekend for sure.
And that's what we when we were talking last week about how they could potentially use the start of the season with Oklahoma OSU down the road. Now that you're past Oklahoma, what can you see from what you saw on the field? What do you think they can take as they're going further in Big 12 play?
Well, I mean, Oklahoma has done a great job of creating, a ridiculous lineup, and I think their pitchers do a really good job to keep people off balance, and we won't see that as we move forward, right? Like, they're 3 in the nation for a reason. They've done a good job. We'll continue to build our program and be just as good. But I just think that our kids have seen the best, and so it's just all better from here. And we did a good job. We got 7 hits off of them in one game, and we got multiple hits off of them in another. We have to get better defensively and make sure that we don't give good hitters extra outs, and our pitchers have to get better at hitting their spots. And I think that we learned a lot of lessons, right? Like, when you miss, you got to make sure that you miss in certain places, and when you get opportunities to make plays, you make them. And I think that our young team is, you don't want to learn that lesson how we learned it, but make the lesson be learned so that it's purposeful and productive. And I think our kids have that mindset and are moving forward from it.
And was there anything you saw to Oklahoma jumping on top early that was that something they were doing, or was it just because I know in that first game they had the 4 home runs in the first inning? Was that something that kind of threw off? Because after that, I believe it was 6-0 after the first. It was only 2-0 the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. Was that something they were just coming out really hot, or it just kind of caught you guys off guard, or what did you see with that?
Well, I don't think that they did anything different than what they do. They go up at the plate and they swing, and we miss pitches, and they made them hurt. And I think that, what do you do with that defensively, right? And you just continue to get better in the circle, and you hit your spots better in the future. And we made some mistakes defensively, and it's just, you get better. You just continue to learn from that, and you get better each opportunity that you have to play great teams, and you understand what the standard is to be a great team, and you rise to that occasion. And I think our young team kind of got swallowed up in that. I think they kind of got swallowed up in the atmosphere, and and they will learn from that, and it won't happen again.
And we've talked about the youth of this team a few times throughout the years. What do you think in regards to the young team? We've talked about kind of like this hot start to the beginning of the year between Oklahoma State, and Baylor. Is there something you see with it being such a tough conference, like just being thrown into the fire so early like that? Do you like that they have to rise to the occasion so early, or what do you see with 3 teams like that so early in the conference play?
Well, I mean, all 3 teams start seasoned players. So, the lineup we saw in Oklahoma has 8 sorority, like upper-handed senior, 1 freshman that's in the top of the country and hitting, we start, 8 newcomers and 1 kid with experience in the same spot. So, I think there's something to be said with junior, seniors playing against freshmen and sophomores. But I think that regardless, it doesn't matter. If you're a freshman or a senior, you figure out what is the standard of play and you play it. And I think that, if you look at some of the errors we had early on, Bree Russell had some errors early. She's not having those now, right? And I just think that there's just so much learning and maturity that's coming out of our young team that will also help us in conference, right? As long as our kids continue to keep mentality on, what is our expertise of play and how do we win, and how we've done that all year, and not focus on all the other things, and only grow in their mistakes and make those be purposeful and ways to get better, I think we'll be just fine.
That's actually something I was going to bring up. It feels like the score was not really indicative. Like, what do they mainly look for in the game? Because even though it was 8-0, like you said, it was 2-0 for everything after the first inning. Is there different things you look for growth, for in your own way, like winning the game, things that you're looking for from the players? Because I feel like some of the scores weren't indicative of how this team has gotten better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm ready to start talking about the future, right? I mean, I think that our mindset, when we left Norman, and now we're in Lubbock, and we're focusing on this week in OSU and what we do right. And I think our kids learn what they need to learn, and they're looking forward to being able to adjust and make plays when plays come. And I think that our kids are excited about that. I think they're mindful that they play the game the right way. They play the game hard. We lead the Big 12 in a number of categories individually, and we're a great ball club. And we're going to continue to do what we need to do to go out and take care of OSU.
And is it nice to finally, because we keep talking about like this long road trip between California and then Norman, it's been 25 days. Is it nice just to see the team get back? They'll get to be in front of their home crowd, no traveling, and just really, maybe be a little more restful with one, or just at the very least to be back at home.
I think the important part is to play in front of your home crowd is to make sure that you're taking ground balls where you've always taken ground balls, to make sure we know how our wall plays, and your experience in Lubbock, and whether there's wind or not wind, or there's so much part of Lubbock and the atmosphere of our area that gives us an elite advantage. And we hope that people come out. We hope that people support our young team that has been working really hard for them. And we do what we have been doing. We run, we hit and run, we take extra bases, we play steady defense, we hit our spots at pitching, and we're happy to be at home, and we're happy to win, and we protect our house.
And obviously, you don't want to give too many secrets away for each matchup, but are there a few things specifically you'll be looking for in this matchup that you think are the keys to victory, or just something that you think will really be important for this team?
Well, I mean, you always have a strategy going into each opponent that you play, and I think really we just need to make sure that we play our game, that we're confident in what we do, and that we know that we're powerful and we can put up a lot of runs fast, and we're good at what we do. So our kids just have to get comfortable in that and continue to lean on that, and I think we'll just get better and better each week.
And we talked about that confidence. Do you see that confidence growing as the season goes on?
I think that oftentimes women want to have successes prior to feeling confident or need to be fueled by other people. So we keep challenging our kids to feel that within, also while trying to fill their bucket whether they find success or not. If you hit a line drive, then good for you. The next one's going to fly out. So just continue to do what you do and take pride in what you do and do it with all your might. And I think our kids are getting closer and closer to that without having to feel hitting 600 to feel like you're successful. That's not realistic, and what we've been doing has worked, so let's just continue to do what we do and do it well.
How important is having Michaela Cochran in the top half of the lineup for y'all getting the offense moving?
I mean, I think both Heaven and Michaela have done an incredible job all year of setting the table for us. I think they've really embraced what it means to just make sure that you get on and increase your on-base percentage and give Jess and Kiana and Carly opportunities to hit them in. And I think that, they've done a phenomenal job. You can look back at games we've won, and those guys have been on base multiple times. And I think Michaela is just so steady. She doesn't really ride the emotional train. Like, she's very confident in how she plays the game, and she's very proud of making sure that she does her role and does it well. And so I am so excited that she's a freshman, and that Heaven's a freshman, and I think the future is very bright.
You mentioned some of the small ball things earlier, hit and run, bunt. Is that something you stress, in the top half of the lineup, so you can put 3 through 5, to where they can knock them in, or is that something you work with all the way through the lineup?
Yeah, pretty much if you watch us, we run in and we gun, and we're going. We're not going to be idle very long. And so I think, the more that you can make defenses off kilter, the more that you can put kids in the run, you put more pressure on the defense. So, there's pretty much not anyone in the lineup we don't do that with.
Thank you.
All right, so can you just kind of describe what was the main takeaway from this weekend against Oklahoma, this last weekend?
I just think it's definitely something we need to grow on. Obviously, we can take those games, and no games are wasted, and we can take those and move forward, and just have a different aspect looking into this weekend.
Is there, obviously it doesn't get much easier with Oklahoma State, is there something to really this team as a whole, but being thrown into the fire early against Oklahoma State, Baylor? Is that something you guys embrace, or what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a great team, but I also think that we're a great team. So I mean, I think if we go out there and we play the game how we know how to, I think we should end up on top, for sure.
Is it nice to finally be at home after how many? Just 25 days on,
Yeah.
Is that nice to finally get back in in front of your own fans, not have to travel all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's like nothing like playing at home, and just the atmosphere is awesome here, and I think we've definitely done our fair share of traveling so far this season. So it's great to be home. It's great to be around our fans, around our family, and stuff like that. So. Yeah.
And what would constitute as growth for you this weekend? Like, what do you want to see out of this team and personally against Oklahoma State? What's that next step you guys want to see?
I think we're best when we play comfortable. So I think it's a little challenging when you start conference off with OU, but it's kind of something you have to adapt to. And I think that when we're comfortable and we're and playing our own game, I think that's when we're our best. So.
And even losing all 3 games, that's something you can take forward, because I mean, a lot of teams are going to struggle with OU being like defending national champions, everything. Is that something you guys can really take forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely points out the things that we need to work on and grow on, and we can just kind of take away from those games and use them to our advantage, for the rest of the conference. So.
And is it, with a young team, is there a part of getting settled in with, you're a good amount into the season, but also the conference kind of just started, so it's only the second one. Is there kind of a readjustment once conference starts?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, of course, like, you always want to step up your game when conference starts. But I think our freshmen do a really good job of that. I think they adapt so easy to the game and stuff like that, and they're super comfortable on the field. So, you never have to think twice when it comes to them. So.
Anything else?
So what does Michaela Cochran bring to the table, especially up in the top of the lineup? How does she get your offense going?
Yeah, I mean, she's awesome. I forget, we were going over at practice the other day, and we were just talking about how like the number of hits she had. It was incredible, and I think that she really like sets the table for everyone in the lineup. I think it's like almost a no-brainer when she's up to bat if she's going to get on base or not, and I think that's just like really awesome to have that to rely on at the top of the lineup. So.